All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's concentrate on New England. What is going on, Fins fans, and welcome to Fins Temporal Focus. I apologize, this was actually supposed to be more of a two-part video. I got behind. Work, family, blah, 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 blah. However, I'm going to go over a few things with you. Put the Colts game behind us, but I will reflect just a hair on some of the stuff that went on that to me is crazy. One is we've lost James Daniels, the right guard. He is on IR, so he'll at least miss 4 weeks. They did sign Cole Strange from Cleveland's practice squad, former first-round pick, ironically, I think, of New England originally. And then the stuff that's been said throughout the week, and I kind of get it, but you know, the Dolphins have a players-only meeting after week 1. Not good. I'm not. It looks bad. We'll leave it at that, and I'll say real quick. Jordan Brooks, I believe it was, came out about the players-only meeting. He says it was just a way for the players to make sure that they didn't read too much into this loss to the Colts and make sure everybody is on the same page. Hopefully they turn that page, because if they were on the same page for the Colts, do not recommend that book to my wife, who is an avid book reader, because it was a horrible book. But you had Chubb coming out and saying basically that the team was basically freelancing on the whole defense, was freelancing at times. I don't know how that happens in a game, but yeah, not good. So as you listen to the Dolphins, of course, McDaniel came out and done his spiel of blah blah blah. Still, I don't know. I know he has a soft demeanor, or a laid back demeanor, if you will. But right now, I need to see a little bit of anger. I need to see it out of somebody. Because when you go out and you put up, yikes, the team that we put on the field against the Colts, somebody needs to be angry. And ironically, the only person I've seen any emotion out of, ironically, is Tyreek Hill. You know, he was visibly upset in the game against the Colts, trying to get the guys kind of hyped up, and it is what it is. I'm not a big Tyreek Hill fan, but he's the only person I've really seen any emotion out of. And when you lay an egg like that, I need to see some anger. I need to see some people taking accountability. And so I just wanted to touch on some of that, and I will. A lot of people are already calling for McDaniel's head. I do have a concept on that. Like I said, I don't know. As far as we definitely, I don't see us winning as many games as what I projected. I said 8 to 9 wins. Right now, I don't know if we can win 5. But this video is about Miami and the New England Patriots. And it's one of those interesting games. Tua owns New England. He has not lost to New England as a starter. We've only lost to New England, I think, once in the last 7 games at home. So those odds are forever in our favor. However, this is a different team in New England. And Vrabel has had the Dolphins number in Tennessee. I'm not even going to bring up the collapse. We have not been able to do anything against Tennessee. Even if they're bad, we can't do anything with Tennessee. And that's Mike Vrabel. Which I said at the beginning of the season, Mike Vrabel alone, his presence alone in New England will get them 2 to 3 games. That's how good of a coach I think he is. So we'll see which one's going to stand. Is Tua going to continue to dominate New England, or is New England going to put an end to it and Vrabel will start his ascent on this division? So like I said, we've lost Daniels. We'll go into the injury report just a little bit. We lost Daniels. Bonner is still out with the hamstring. Unfortunately, Duck is going to be out with the ankle. And the one that really bothers me is Austin Jackson. Doesn't look like he's going to play. I don't think they've really ruled him out. He may be game time. But a toe injury has come up on him. So the right side of our offensive line is Larry Borum, right tackle. I think he played in Chicago for a little bit. And then Keon Smith, the right guard, who came in last week for Daniels. And I remember the very first play he got pushed back. So the right side against this New England defense really, really scares me. The only real notable injury for New England is their cornerback Christian Gonzalez. He's still having some hamstring issues. So we'll see what happens there, if he's a go or a no-go. The way they're talking, because I think he had put out a Instagram or something saying that he was feeling better and and then all of a sudden it got taken down, and then we haven't heard anything. And I know he did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday. So therefore, I don't know. Then also defensive tackle Benito Jones for the Dolphins is out. So the rookie Kenneth Grant may get the start, his first start, because of Benito Jones' injury. And then you have Darren Waller, who is out again for this game. Apparently it's a hip. It's not working. And me personally, I would really like to see them bring up Rusi. I liked him last year. Of course, I didn't have this channel last year. I liked him last year in preseason. I really thought he might get cut this year, but he is still on the practice squad. And Hayden Rusi is the way I say it. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But Hayden Rusi, bring him up and see what he can do. He's, like I said, in preseason, he's played pretty good the past 2 years. So maybe you can get something there. We need somebody. But anyway, looks like, again, Brown and Smith will be starting on the right side. And then Jack Jones and Rajul Douglas will be starting at corner. That terrifies me. But we'll get into some of this The Dolphins are favored in this game, 1.5. I'm sure the heat at home has a little bit to do with that. Dolphins are trying to do a whiteout for this game. They want, so everybody's wearing white. Of course, New England will be wearing the dark blue. It does help. It really does help. Of course, you know, New England's going to be sitting in the sun for 3 hours. Miami will be sitting in the shade for 3 hours. Kudos to the designer of the stadium. I love that. A lot of people feel like it was unfair, but to me, that's the point. You go to Buffalo in the snow, that is a advantage. Buffalo. You know, if you come to Miami, yeah, sit in the heat. You'll be, you know, we'll get you some water. One of the interesting little notes, Jalen Hawkins, the safety, had a real good game for New England. Apparently he got cut just a little bit after the game, which surprises me because he had 5 tackles, a pick, and a sack. And all of a sudden he's cut. Now they may have re-signed him. If they have, then I apologize because I haven't seen anything on that. But Geno Smith ate this team alive. 24 of 34 for 362 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And the pick, it wasn't bad. He did throw it into coverage. It was actually like 3 guys over there, but the ball was tipped. So it was, he really come close to completing that pass. That was his only pick. And but we also don't have a tight end that's going to get 100 yards and stretch the field. Thanks, Chris Greer. But like I said, and I think, let me go back to my notes. I don't believe Hill is starting in this game. I think it's going to be Connor. I'm trying to think of his name now. I'm so bad with names, and these guys aren't regular names. Tanner Connor, not Connor. His last name's Connor. Tanner Connor. I think they're talking about him getting the start in this game. So that could be interesting. He, again, another guy that played well in the preseason. We'll see if it translates. Maybe he can stretch the defense. I'm not sure. I'm not putting any stock in it, but it's something. And then you had Harold Landry, the third, the outside linebacker. He had 4 tackles, an assist, and 2.5 sacks. That front line of defense, of New England's defense, scares me a lot going into this game. Especially if they move people around on that right side. That is Tua's blind side. It really scares me. So, I mean, they have got to know where Landry is at all times. They've got to know where he is. I mean, they had 4 sacks last week. So the D did not play bad. I mean, you look at the score. Yeah, it was 20-13, but it was really 20-10. I think New England scored the 3 with like under a minute left, and was just trying to score the field goal so they could get the onside kick, and you know, if they did, then maybe try to go down and tie it up. And it didn't work out that way. So the score, it was more than a touchdown loss for New England, and it did look rough at times in that game. And so you got to think with the numbers that Seattle put up, or not Seattle, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Geno Smith that the Raiders put up. Geno Smith, I go straight to Seattle. You got to think that the Dolphins can take advantage of New England a little bit in the on defense with our speed. But you know Vrabel is going to change it up. It's going to be too high safety. McDaniels, it's going to be too high safety. It's coming. Do something different. We got to run the ball. We've heard all off season we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. We ran the ball 10 times against the Colts. Now, granted, before everybody comes at me in the comments and says, "Well, we were behind," I understand that, but it was not. I get it was 20-0 at the half. But we should have 10 rushes at least in the first half. We need 25 to 30 rushes. Now, one positive on the injury, and I didn't bring that up. I actually forgot about it. But Jalen Wright did practice Thursday. So maybe we get him back. But if not, Ollie Gordon needs to get the ball a little more. I would get, because if you really look, HN still had 7.9 yards per carry. That's not bad. But, when you only carry the ball 7 times, I think, he carried the ball 7 to 8 times. I mean, it's so frustrating. Now, with Daniels and Jackson being out, I don't know how that's going to affect the running game. But we have to try. So, especially against too high safety, they've got to run the ball, and they've got to be able to go to their second read and third read. Now, Tua, there's a lot of comment. Xavier Howard came out and said, "Hey, all you got to do to beat Tua is take away his first read, and everything falls apart." That is not true. We have watched so many games. I've heard so many times how he is if you take away his first read. I've watched him multiple times. If he has time, I've watched him first read, second read, third read. He's not delegated to his first read. But I do get in this game how it looks that way. So I don't feel like it is true. But at the same time, when you look at the Colts game, it looked bad. Tua looked so bad. Let's see. Now, you had May, who was 30 of 46, 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 really bad pick. But it was respectable. His favorite targets in the game, pretty much, Keyshawn Boutte, the fourth-year guy out of LSU. He was a 6th-round pick. He had 6 catches for 103 yards, 7.2 yards per catch. Hunter Henry also had 4 catches for 66 yards, 16.5 yards per catch. And then you had Diggs, who had 6 catches for 57 yards and almost 10 yards per catch. Are you seeing something there? The yards per catch is ridiculous. and somehow we think that they're not going to get open against our DBs. I know I sound so pessimistic right now, but all I've got to go off of is what we did last week. And hopefully that was an anomaly. But it just, when you look at it, I don't know how we change anything. The talking has to stop. I think if Miami doesn't come out and really dominate the New England Patriots, then it's still going to be the same story. If we win this game and it's 3 points or so, and I get it, a win's a win. I'm not taking anything off of that. But when you go out and you lay an egg the way they did against the Colts, and then you barely beat a team that is rebuilding at home, the writing is almost on the wall at that point of what this season is going to be. Now, they didn't, I will say, New England did not run the ball, especially with Vrabel. I really thought they would have ran the ball a lot more than what they did. But it wasn't great. They only ran the ball 18 times for 60 yards. So, I mean, and 4 of those were scrambles by May. So, you know, they really only ran the ball 14 times, which really surprises me for a Vrabel coach team. So you kind of hope that the D can keep the run game in check. But I think that is a key point. We have to stop the run and put it on May the best we can. But our front line has got to get home. If not, it's going to be a bad day. So Robinson, Phillips, Chubb, we had one sack last week. Now, New England gave up 4 against the Raiders. And I think I keep calling them Oakland, and I apologize to Las Vegas. I know it takes me a while to really get used to. I'm still called San Diego, the LA Chargers, San Diego. It's just in my blood, and I will try to do better. But the Raiders, they sacked May 4 times in that game and did get some pressure on him. So hopefully our front 7 can get some pressure on May, make it a long day for him. If not, it's really going to be a long day for us. That all being said, this is a statement game for the Miami Dolphins. If you come out and, I'm just going to say, if you come out and half-ass this game, there's no place to go. There is literally no place to go. McDaniel is coaching for his job. And even if we win this, if we barely win this game, I don't think he's safe. But if we lose this game, because we're losing against Buffalo, okay? That is pretty much etched in stone. We are not going to go into Buffalo and win. I don't think we're going to beat them at home either. But And it's just one of those they got to show me. Can't go against our daddy. And Josh Allen is our daddy until otherwise noted. And so you're looking at 0-3 if we lose this game. If we go 0-3, I really don't think McDaniel gets to see the rivalry uniforms. That is my take on it. Because if we go 0-3, and I'm expecting Buffalo to spank us pretty good, and we've already been spanked by the Colts, and if we lose to New England, I don't think fans are going to be calling for some heads. So this game is very, very, very important to the Dolphins season. Now, that being said, right now, I don't see it. I don't. If we win this game, it's going to be close. I don't think we will win this game. I think Vrabel has enough right now. To beat us. As painful as that is. Now, going into the season, I felt like this game was a win. But I did feel like we were going to lose that last game of the season to New England in New England. But all you've got is what have you done for me lately? And last week was so bad. I don't know how you recover from it. I know it's week 1. And everybody's going to be, hey, it's one game. And if we would have lost by 3, even 7, 10, there's some things maybe we can fix. This was bad across the board. Offense, defense, special teams. Special teams weren't bad. Special teams wasn't really that bad. We had the big penalty on the only time that we stopped the Colts and got them to punt. We end up running into the kicker, which is why the Colts scored on every single drive. Can the Dolphins win this game? Absolutely. It's in the heat. It's at home. But I need to see some enthusiasm. I need to see some heart. I need to see some life in this game. Because if it ain't there, then that team has already quit on McDaniel. And it is time to start thinking about April. Unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. I will be watching the game tomorrow. We're definitely not having pizza. That was bad luck. So tomorrow, I'll probably be eating some homemade soup and some cornbread and seeing if a little home cooking can help with the Dolphins' misery. So we'll see how it goes. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the game. I hope you guys make good decisions. And fins up, at least for tomorrow, hopefully, fins up. You guys have a good day.